Hello, everyone. I'm your moderator for today's debate, Molly. And today's debate topic is school uniforms necessary? Should one wear school uniforms? So we have Niyati and Pranad for the opposition, and Pranjal, Arishri, and Abhishek for the proposition. Starting with Arishri.
So I'll be starting in three, two, one. So good evening, Chair. Today I stand firmly for the motion that school uniforms should be mandatory. Firstly, my first point goes like uniforms create equality. In a classroom where students come from different and diverse financial and social backgrounds, uniforms are a medium to make them all look the same and feel the same. Without uniforms, clothing becomes the symbol of status, and students really feel this haste to dress flamboyantly in a environment where your main motive is to study and to express yourself through your own skills. Now, these uniforms actually make students even think like that we need to dress up expensive as our friends, as our fellow friends, and this kind of creates a sense of discrimination and a sense of ungratefulness in them. Secondly, uniforms instill discipline and focus. The moment a student wears a uniform, they step into this environment where they come with a professional mindset. Uniforms reduce this strain of what to wear, and instead they remind the student of their very primary goal, that is education. They can save their time by not thinking about what to wear, and this can actually, the time can rather be invested in something more practical. Now, third, uniforms foster um, identity, a sense of identity, because wearing it makes student feel a part of something very bigger, a school community. Just like police wear their khaki uniforms, or maybe soldiers wear their uniform, that represents their brotherhood between their own people and fellow soldiers and fellow police. That's how it builds unity, and it also builds a sense of belonging. And lastly, I would say that uniforms are cost effective and very economically friendly, because not a lot of people and not a lot of parents can actually afford to buy and uh, very, sorry. Not a lot of parents can actually uh, buy all these kind of fancy clothings, because children, being human in nature, they will get this feeling, this urge to dress better day and day. After they see people wearing good dresses, they are going to get this urge to dress better. So these are very cost effective, and we all get we don't get this thing, we don't have this notion of being fashionable enough, and we are just being existing and expressing ourselves in the way we definitely should, rather than just being and clothing ourselves in the most flamboyant way. Thank you.
Perfect timing, Arishri. Now we'll have the opposition.
All right, I'll be starting my speech in the backward count of three, two, and one. Good evening, Chair and the House at large. I'm Niyati Mediratta, the first speaker from side opposition. Today, I stand firmly against the motion that uniforms in school should be made mandatory. Uniforms are supposed to make us equal. They're supposed to make us disciplined and united. At least that's the theory. But let's define the terms before we button up this debate. A school uniform is a standardized outfit, same shirt, same pants, same tie, basically a school-sponsored fashion cult. Mandatory means that we have no choice. You either wear it or you get punished for expressing yourself through the radical act of wearing socks in a slightly different shade. And that is what exactly we as the opposition oppose. Supporters argue that uniforms create equality, but let's think logically. Does wearing the same blazers erase inequality? No, it does not. The National Center for Education Statistics reports that 85% of schools with uniforms saw no reduction in fleeing. Why? Because bullies don't stop at shirts. They'll say, your shoes aren't Nike, your phone isn't the latest. Uniforms are a cosmetic fix. like painting all cars the same color and claiming that traffic jams are solved. Inequality isn't in the clothing, it's in the resources, the opportunities, and the attitudes. A blazer cannot erase class difference. So, all right, maybe uniforms don't solve inequality, and that's fine, but surely they improve academics. Actually, again, no, wrong. A 2022 Journal of Educational Research study found no link between uniforms and higher grades. Clothing really boosted intelligence, and Gucci should be running math tutoring centers. And what uniforms do affect is comfort. Psychologists talk about in clothed cognition, how clothing impacts mood and confidence. And nothing screams confidence like an itchy collar and a trouser two sizes too small. Instead of focusing on calculus and math, students are busy calculating how long they can survive in polyester. That is not education. That is torture disguised as discipline by the proposition. The last major argument from the other side is discipline. But let's connect it carefully. Discipline is about responsibility, not obedience. Forcing uniforms is fake discipline. It creates obedience, not independent thinkers. And let's be honest, telling teenagers, which are the most self-expressive species on earth, that their identity ends at the collar and the collar is their identity ends at the collar is absolutely hilarious. If uniforms truly built discipline, every school hallway would look like a military parade. Spoiler alert, it does not. What builds is resentment, rebellion, and a thriving underground hoodie economy. So let's sum up. Uniforms don't erase inequality, they don't boost trade, they don't teach real discipline. They just make us look like extras in a very boring movie. Education should prepare students to think critically, express themselves, and embrace diversity, not to master the art of blending in. Uniforms promise unity but deliver conformity. They claim to bring equality, but only cover up the inequality. It's polyester and itchy fabrics. And no leader in history ever said, I changed the world because my tie was regulation less. So I urge you, let's stop ironing out the individuality from people. Let's reject mandatory uniforms because real education is about opportunity, not outfits. Thank you.
Good job, Niyati. Okay. Next, we have the proposition. Who's going next? Is it Pranjal or Abhishek?
Yeah, I'm the next.
Okay, so will you give yourself
Can
a
I start?
You need a count.
Yeah, 3, 2, 1, go. Yeah.
Just a second.
Good evening to one another present here. Can I start it? Yeah, okay. Good evening to one another present here, Honorable Chair, worthy opponents, and my fellow teammates. Today, I firmly stand in the support of the motion that school uniform should be mandatory. The school is the place which support the equality as uniforms level up the playing fields. In this world of fashion and class, which reflects the social class and the social hype or the elite classes, school uniform eliminate the visible economic differences. No student have to worry about the designer brands or labels. Everyone is seen equally, not judged by the clothes but by the behavior and the achievement. This reduces the bullying or the peer pressure and the social exclusion. Uniforms shift the focus from appearance to academics, where students are not distracted by what their friends or the peer members are wearing. It creates a structure of discipline and a sense of seriousness. It promotes unity and a sense of belonging and a unity for the school. It gives identity to a student. And now, from the safety and security perspective, in a time where the school security is growing concern, school uniform helps to ensure the safety as it becomes easy to identify whom belongs to whom. And the religious impacts are also there. If a school uniform are not mandatory, the religious impact can vary depending upon many things. More likely to wear the religious attire freely, such as hijabs, turbans, etc. If a student who wears a distinct religious clothing may become a target of bullying, as we can say that there are many cases. For example, if we take an example of India, there is a concern like in Karnataka in 2002. The controversy began when Muslim students were denied to enter the schools for wearing hijab, leading to the protest and the counter protest as well. As they have started wearing the hijabs, as the Muslim girls who wear hijab in the school, as they were wearing, and the other and the other religion students have protested against that they have to also wear their own religious attire such as saffron scarf, etc. So I firmly stand in the motion that school uniform should be mandatory, and it is a concern. Yeah, thank you.
Great speech. You still had a minute left though. Okay. Now we'll have Pranan.
Am I audible? Hello.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah. I'll start on my self count of 3, 2, 1. Ma'am, when we are talking about school education, we need to clearly understand that this is not just about academics, but also about individuality and rights. Around 80% of Indian schools impose mandatory uniforms. The concerning part about this, ma'am, is that UNESCO's Global Education Monitoring Report 2021 clearly stated that education must reduce inequality, not enforce conformity. Forcing every child into the same attire is not equality. It is simply hiding differences, ma'am. Another surprising issue, since we are emphasizing on equality, ma'am, is that UNICEF's guidelines on child rights undermine the importance of self-expression. Uniforms erase this completely. A child is not allowed to reflect their identity, their culture, not even basic choice of dress. This is a direct contradiction to Article 26 of the UDHR, Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which says that education must aim at the full development of the human personality. Ma'am, regarding the discipline, the blunders of the proposition side are very clear. The Journal of Educational Research 2019 found that no proven link between uniforms and discipline or attendance. Yet, this argument keeps being repeated without evidence, ma'am. If discipline collapses without uniforms, then it is the school system that is failing, not the student. Ma'am, another concerning part is the issue of menstruation. In Bangladesh, UNICEF highlighted that almost one third of adolescent girls miss schools during their periods because many of them, because their uniforms make them vulnerable to shame and embarrassment. In India as well, a Delhi study recorded that 40% of school girls stay home during menstruation for the same reason. So instead of ensuring access to education, mandatory uniforms are directly contributing to absenteeism. Economically, the hypocrisy is even worse, ma'am. A 2022 India spend a study showed that rural households spend nearly 6% of their annual income just on uniforms. For families already struggling to survive, this is a major burden. In the name of equality, we are forcing the poor into further financial stress. If equality was truly the aim, the demand would be for free books or free meals, not the same colored your cloth. Ma'am, another concerning part is mental health. The Oxford University Press Education Study 2021 reported that students in schools without uniforms showed higher self-esteem and confidence. Uniforms instead suppress individuality and enforce silence. So, ma'am, education should create confident citizens, not obedient followers, right? So, ma'am, the stance is very clear. Uniforms do not bring equality; they disguise inequality. They do not teach discipline, but they expose the weakness of their own system. They do not help the poor; they punish them further, right? And the proposition side stands exposed for building arguments on assumptions while ignoring facts, case studies, and internationally recognized rights of students.
Pranad, are you done?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Um, I guess next we have Pranjal.
Start on the self count of 3, 2, 1.
Pranjal, your voice is very faint. I won't be able to hear you.
Is it better now?
Yeah, much better.
I'll start on the self count of 3, 2, 1. Respected Chair, I am here to speak in the favor of the motion that school uniform should be made mandatory. Let me ask you this. Do we come to school to attend a fashion parade or to study? If it is for learning, then surely uniform helps. They remove distractions and create a serious atmosphere for education. The first and most important point is equality. Imagine one student walking in branded shoes for thousands and another who can barely afford slippers. Do we really want children to be judged by what they wear instead of who they are? Uniforms solve this. They place all students on the same level. No rich, no poor, just learners. Next, discipline. It may sound boring, but discipline is what schools are built upon. Uniforms quietly remind us that we are here for a purpose. Without them, students would compete over hairstyles, outfits, and brands. With them, we can compete where it really matters: grades, knowledge, sports, talent. Isn't that a better competition? Then comes cost and convenience. Without uniforms, every morning would be a drama of what should I wear today. Parents would have to spend more and more to keep up with fashion trends. Uniforms save money and save time. And honestly, who doesn't like a life where the hardest choice in the morning is sorry, hardest choice in the morning is to pick the lunch instead of what to wear. Another point is unity and identity. When a cricket team plays, do they wear random clothes? No, they wear jerseys because it creates team spirit. Similarly, school uniforms give us pride and identity. They tell the world, this is who we are and this is the school we represent. And about individuality, many say uniforms kill creativity. But let me ask, does creativity really live in a pair of jeans or a fancy jacket? Real individuality comes from ideas, achievements, and personality. Uniforms only take away unnecessary judgment so you can true self can shine. To conclude, uniforms promote equality, discipline, unity, pride, and practicality. They remove the fashion show attitude, they save money, and they build team spirit. They are not a burden, they are actually a freedom from judgment. So, yes, uniform should be made mandatory because school is for education, not for runway shows. Thank you.
Okay, good speech. If you all want time, you can take 2 minutes to prepare for the rebuttal round questions, or you can just begin.
Chair, I believe there is only 6 minutes or almost 7 minutes left, right? So we could just like start with the
Yeah,
rebuttals.
you can just begin if you are ready with your questions. The opposition begins, so opposition, you can go ahead and ask questions to the proposition.
Niyati, do you have any question?
So Pranad, is it okay if I go first?
Yeah, go.
All right. So the core argument of the proposition was that uniforms create equality, which I rebutted in my first speech. So is it equality about opportunities and mindset rather than outfits?
Can you repeat?
So the core argument of your side was that uniforms create equality. But isn't equality about opportunities and mindset rather than the clothes you wear?
Is it okay if I reply to that? Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
So yeah. Yeah. So as you asked me, is equality all about dressing or is it about skills, mindset, opportunities, right? So if we go real into the real world, we can see that equality does happen. Equality does mean that having good skills, having good mindset, it is. But when we go into the human, when we go how insecure become, when they see somebody wearing dressing or doing anything superior to them, that is where the problem persists. If we think that only equality in this notion is what we consider as the same, this is not. Actually, people have different notions regarding equality. Okay, dressing, yeah, dressing does give one confidence. But if we, just take this one problem out of dressing, or maybe we just make a uniform for everybody, I think the problem won't persist. The problem of wearing anything, everything nicely, wearing better than everybody would just be removed. I don't think that equality just means about, expressing yourself, because it differs individually. People have insecurities in them. Equality just isn't the answer to it. Isn't alone. Alone is it isn't
Chair,
the
follow
answer to
up.
it.
Chair, follow up.
Go ahead.
Okay, so ma'am, I truly understand your concern about that equality is not just about self-expression, right? But ma'am, according to a 2022 India Spend study showed that rural households spend nearly 6% of their annual income just on uniforms. So for families already struggling to survive, this is a major burden, right? So in the name of equality, which you just mentioned in your previous answer, your side is forcing the poor into further financial stress. So how are you able to talk about equality while on the same side you are forcing the poor to go into more financial stress according with backed with real facts, right? I'm not just bluffing. Yes.
Can I follow?
That is an answer. I mean, that is a question, so you need to answer, right?
Yeah. I mean, anybody else wants to do it? Okay. Should I go? Hello.
Arishi, you don't need to ask that much. You can just go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. So as you said, the financial strains. Tell me, buying 3 uniforms a year, how much financial stress will it impose on a family rather than getting new types of dresses just to cater to the expectation of their child? Do you think that these SC/ST childrens, they don't have that kind of insecurity when some child with a greater background comes to them and wears flamboyant dresses? Don't you think that will be a bigger problem? Don't you think that having uniforms could rather solve that rather than just making these kind of different dressing angles and making people judged by all that thing? Because come on, judging does exist in real. You just can't spit equality and just say me that judging doesn't exist. This is not how the real world works. Come on, your studies might be showing one thing, your studies might be showing things, but to come and see the real world, you could definitely see what you could definitely feel it in the real life. I don't need to explain it furthermore.
Chair, can I give a follow up with that?
Um, I'll have Niyati say first because
Chair,
No, no,
Chair,
I just wanna,
sorry
I
to
just wanna
interrupt.
add to
Hello,
it.
hello, Chair, sorry to interrupt right now, but there is just 2 minutes remaining. Would that be possible if you send a new Zoom meeting link so that we could just
you
continue
have
this
to
debate?
join the same meeting link.
Chair,
Achha, okay.
I won't be able to rejoin.
That is fine. You
I
can
have a follow-up as well as another POI. Can I just ask the POI?
send your POI to
So
Pranad. You can continue with the follow-up right now.
it's very short. I'll just speak it and then I'll just not join the
Go
next
ahead.
meeting.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So one of the speakers from side proposition mentioned that about something about religious attire. So if uniform prevent bullying of religious attire, does that mean the solution is to the solution to intolerance is to erase diversity rather than teach tolerance to the students?
Can you please repeat the question first of all?
One of the speakers from side proposition mentioned something about religious attire, like the Muslim women, they have to cover their faces. So, if uniform prevents bullying of religious attire, does that mean that the solution to intolerance is to erase diversity rather than teach tolerance?
Niyati, your voice wasn't clear. Can you write the question in the chat box? Okay, the meeting is going to
So my
end
basic
anyway.
question is,
Okay,
I'll send it in the chat.
the meeting is going to end. Don't send it in the chat. Just say it again.
So if uniforms are actually preventing bullying against religious attire, does that mean that the solution to intolerance is to erase diversity rather than teach tolerance to students? Because one of the speakers mentioned something about religious attire causing bullying.
Abhishek, would you like to answer that? Abhishek or Pranjal?